I'd like to first and foremost talk a little bit about Vitruvio for folks who may not be aware of it. And then I want to talk about what's happening on Monday. What's this booster sale that we are talking about? What exactly is a booster and what's the point of it? And once that overview is done, we can open the space for questions and just get going. So let's get going. So Vitruvio is a new blockchain. Just like Ethereum or Solana or Tezos, etc., it's a protocol from the bottom up, designed to address the needs of creators. So while other blockchains cater to everybody, like Ethereum, for example, right? You can do anything and everything. You can create all kinds of apps. Now you can do the same thing on Vitruvio, but we are focused as sort of the creators of the protocol on creators. So everything that is done in the protocol, in the ecosystem around it, the tooling, the resources, how we approach really the thinking process of what to do with it is all with a creator mindset. So when I talk about creators, we are talking about first of all visual artists. So just about everybody who is in NFT art right now. But we're also talking about folks in music, folks in movies, folks in the writing industry, etc. But we can't, as a new blockchain, tackle everything at once, right? So what we are doing is we are starting with a focus on visual artists. So those of you who are out there creating right now, using all the tools available to you, the 2D art, 3D art, AI art, etc. So we are focusing on that initially, and then we'll move on to music, and then movies, and then on to just about everybody else. So what could we be doing with the blockchain to appeal or make it useful for creators? Well, one of the things we did was observe what does not work in the other protocols. And we set about making that right in our protocol, in Vitruvio. So there's several pain points that artists have today. And I'm going to use the word creators and artists interchangeably. The broader term is creators, but since the first phase is artists, I'll just focus on artists right now. So there are several pain points that artists have in general in the NFT space. The biggest three are that artists are forced to have marketing skills, sales skills, and also social media skills. So pretty much, if you're going to be successful in the NFT art space today, you're not just going to create awesome art. You have to be discoverable. You have to make yourself be found, and that requires a lot of your time. And so that's a pain point that I've talked to thousands of artists at this point, and they all universally tell me they would rather be in their studio creating art and not be doing all of those things. So what we thought is, what if we change the equation a little bit and we think about, instead of just creating a protocol, which is technology, at the end of the day it's just code, right? Instead of just delivering code, what if we, as the sort of uh, the minders of the protocol, if you will, created an ecosystem instead, and that ecosystem was focused on creators. So it's not only about making your art sort of available on the blockchain, but also making it accessible to collectors, growing the pool of collectors, helping you be discovered, and all those problems. So at the end of the day, what we want is for you, the artist, to be able to essentially get your work on the blockchain and then go back to creating more artwork, and not have to worry about everything else, and almost create this sort of self-working, self-running ecosystem, which is focused on getting your art in the hands of as many collectors and art appreciators in as many ways as possible. So in order to do that, what we've done is essentially position Vitruvio as a vertically integrated ecosystem. And the way to think about this is like Apple. Like, if you think about Apple, Apple makes the chips in their phones, they make the phones themselves, they make the operating system, they make the apps that go on it. Then they have an app store also for other developers to build apps, and they also do the marketing around it and get consumers on it. They help consumers learn about how to use the phone. They help developers learn how to build on it. But it's all very central, right? It's all very focused on the iPhone. And so that's kind of what Vitruvio is about. Is we've got the technology, but we are not stopping at the technology. We are creating all kinds of things around that technology to help you, the creator. And we have lots of information on that forthcoming on the how of it. But what I'd like to do now is move specifically to sort of the focus of this space, which is the boosters. So the blockchain is going live this week, in any day now, probably today or tomorrow sometime. We will have what we call mainnet, RC1. So RC stands for release candidate. All it means is that the software is ready, but maybe there's a little bit more testing to do, a little more polish to do, etc. And so we don't want to just call it mainnet. We want to call it a release candidate. So this is release candidate 1. Then we'll have release candidate 2, release candidate 3, and then finally what we would call the live mainnet toward the end of this year. Now, in order for us to build this ecosystem and to make it work for the benefit of creators, we've got the resources in terms of technology. We know what we want to do. We've got the planning done. We've got all the strategizing done. But like any other project, we need capital. So we've used the capital that we've had to date to build the blockchain. So we've built the blockchain. We've done sort of a lot of work around even some of the apps around it, etc. And now we need to scale it up. We need to get 2 things going here. One is we need to support creators, and 2, we need to get a lot more resources in order to make this blockchain visible in the broader crypto ecosystem. Now, there are already around 18,000 investors in Vitruvio. So these are folks who have previously invested, and that's the capital we used in order to get us to this point. Now, these investors, they expect a return. They, like any other investor, right? Why do you invest capital? You invest capital so you get a return. But in order for them to get a return, we have to scale up. We have to make this blockchain grow. We have to get as many artists as possible on it. So our goal is to get thousands and thousands of artists on here, and to build sort of that same kind of ecosystem that you've seen thrive on other protocols, but without all the pain of it. So one of the challenges here is that in previous art-only projects, it's been very challenging to get investors to invest. And the reason for that is because the incentives were never aligned. The incentives for investors and the incentive for artists were sort of different. With Vitruvio, what we've created is a singular platform where investors and creators both can win. They can thrive. Investors can get a strong return for their capital investment, while artists can get income, basically find success. And what we are targeting is a sustainable income for artists. So we've created a model whereby both these incentives can be aligned, and that, I believe, is the key for success. So what is the mechanism by which the incentives can align? Well, it's the world of crypto, and so the focal point is a coin. So just like on other protocols, there is a native cryptocurrency, like on Ethereum, there's ETH, on Tezos, there's Tez, etc. On Vitruvio, there is a coin called Vitru, VTRU. And all the investors who have previously invested funds, when we have a plan right now where over a course of the next few weeks, they are essentially delivered the coins that they have paid for. Now, I'm going to, in the course of this space, use the word coin and token interchangeably. It just means the same thing. I'm always referring to Vitru. I say that because not a lot of people who are sort of not crypto native are familiar with the term coin. They're more familiar with token. So that's why. And also, when it comes to sort of regulatory agencies, they use token interchangeably to mean both coin and token. In any event, so these existing investors, 18,000 or so, are going to get their VTRU tokens as we get started here. But in order to scale up, we need to get more investors and we need to raise more capital. And so what we are going to do is we are going to create a booster sale. This is what's launching on Monday. And we are offering 7.5 million VTRUs that are available for anybody to purchase. Now, we look at this sale as targeting two different personas, if you will. So first of all, there is the existing investor, right? There's about, as I said, 18,000 of them. So what they can do is on Monday, they can buy a booster, which gives them a certain set of benefits. But for them, the key benefit that they are looking for is something called accelerated vesting. So let's parse that out. What does that mean? Well, when we have tokens like this, investors are sort of have their tokens locked for a bit and gradually available to them. The reason that's done is because if everybody's tokens were unlocked immediately, everyone would try and sell, and the token price would plummet to zero. That wouldn't be very useful for everybody. And so what we have is something called vesting. Now, there is a schedule of vesting for all these existing token holders, and when they buy a booster, they will be able to accelerate that vesting. The more boosters they buy, the more they'll be able to accelerate. So that's the one persona for the existing holder. And they also get some tokens and other benefits, etc. And I'll talk about those. But another persona is someone who is completely new to VTRUBooster. You are just hearing about it because I've talked about it, or you saw a tweet or something like that, right? So you would buy the booster because you can buy tokens at an early price and enter this ecosystem as an early supporter / investor. That's what the benefit would be for you. So you wouldn't necessarily avail of the accelerated vesting because you don't have existing tokens, right? So you don't care about that. But there are a lot of other benefits that you could avail of. So let's talk about what exactly a booster gives you, what it costs, and how it works. So a booster is actually an NFT. So when you participate in the booster sale, you're buying an NFT. But you might think of NFTs as, only art-centric. Well, a booster is very unique because it has two things. One, it has a special set of benefits. You might even call them a utility. And plus, it is also an art NFT. The way it works is that when you buy the NFT, its focus, its function is to provide the benefits. And those benefits actually sit on that NFT until you use the NFT. So you actually have to use the NFT in a process that we call boosting. And when you actually boost it, that's when the benefits are delivered to you. And guess what? What's left after that is a pure art NFT. So the art, we have 21 amazing artworks from artists in the ecosystem that have created art for these boosters. And so after you use the boost capability, you're left with an artwork, and not just any artwork, it is also augmented reality, AR enabled. So the booster has utility, has benefits, and then it has the artwork. So I wanted to get the artwork conversation out up front because I want to spend more of the time talking about the benefits. So just know that you're buying an NFT that's called a booster. It has benefits. It has an artwork. The artwork becomes available when you use the booster to boost your account. So what are these benefits I'm talking about? Well, a booster is available in two flavors, a plain booster and a super booster. So let's talk about the booster first. A booster costs $150, right? That's the price of an NFT. It's a fixed price. You pay for it in stablecoin, and I'll get to exactly how to buy it, etc. What you get with that booster is, first of all, 100 VTRU tokens. So that means that each VTRU token is $1.50, one US dollar and 50 cents. So you get 100 VTRU tokens. Now, as I mentioned earlier, all of these benefits are sort of locked in with this NFT. So you buy a booster NFT, you could just hold on to it, you could trade it, you could gift it, you could sell it, you could do all those kinds of things. We are building a marketplace to be able to sell it. So right now, if you wanted to sell it, you would have to do it sort of offline, if you will. But we'll have a way for you to trade and sell it on very soon. But keep in mind that this NFT and all the benefits I'm talking about are locked into this NFT until you click this boost feature. And when the boost feature is used, that's when all the benefits are unlocked. So these tokens, they're actually a claim of tokens that's sitting in this NFT. So think of it as like, here, I've got an NFT that's a booster. I can trade it in, and when I do, I get all these benefits unlocked. So the coins is one thing, so the VTRU. The next thing is that within the Vitruvio blockchain, there's a pool of tokens. We call them perks. They're incentive tokens. There's 1.9 million of them. So every booster holder is eligible for a portion of these coins. So let's say, we have 20,000 boosters available. So if you divide that 1.9 by 20,000, that's how much each person gets. So these perks are available over a span of 2 years. So they're gradually released to you on a daily basis. That's one perk. The next perk is a revenue share. So I talked earlier about how we are fixing a lot of the problems in sort of the NFT art space. And one of the things we are doing is we are making it unnecessary for artists to have to choose where to mint their work. We are even removing the need for artists to mint their work. Basically, what we have at the protocol level, at the blockchain level, is what we call an asset registry. So what you do as an artist is you basically come to Vitruvio and you consign. You basically say, here's my artwork. It's available on chain. You assign a few licenses to it. So you can say, okay, if you want to buy a one of this, the price is 10 Vitru. If you want to buy a one of 100 of this, then the price is 1 Vitru, or whatever. And so you can create all these licenses. And this is there at the protocol level, right at the blockchain level. And now any marketplace, anyone who wants to create a store on the protocol can come and they can consume your licenses, and they have to pay whatever price you put there. And then the protocol will mint the artwork on demand. So that's a big difference from what you're used to on Ethereum and Tezos and everywhere else, where we basically said that, look, we don't want to give marketplaces control over who sees the artwork, who mints the artwork. We want the creator to be able to specify that, to specify a set of licenses, and then everyone else needs to abide by that. Now, when the protocol mints your artwork for you, we charge a 2% fee. That 2% fee is on chain, and it gets divided among three parties. The first party is our DAO. So we have a Vitruvio DAO. So a portion of it goes there. Then we have validators. So these are the folks who are actually running the blockchain. There's 500 of them. They've got these computers set up, etc. Well, they will shortly, and they get a portion of the fees. That's their income. That's their how they are rewarded for providing a service. And the third portion of that revenue goes to holders of the boosters. So as a booster holder, you have, for the entire future lifetime of the protocol, 30% of that 2% fee. So you will have a recurring income for the life of the protocol. So as long as there's new artworks being added and sold on this protocol, you will always make money. So that's a great way to have a passive income. That's one way of having a passive income. The second way, and I saved sort of the biggest sort of benefit for last, is Vitruvio has built into the protocol a very unique feature that doesn't exist on any other protocol. That's called rebasing. Rebasing, in plain English or in financial terms, is compound interest. So think about when you go to your bank and you have a savings account, you put a dollar in and you look at it next month, and maybe the dollar is actually a dollar and I don't know, 5 cents or something. And then you go the next month and it's a dollar and 11 cents. Why? Because of compound interest, right? Well, we have the same feature in Vitruvio. Is when you have a certain number of Vitru in your wallet, it actually compounds, so it grows over time. The reason we have this feature is because it essentially gives every early adopter, which is all of you who buy boosters and also the 18,000 who supported earlier, the ability to have passive income and essentially grow your Vitru bag over time. So we'll start off with 60 million Vitrus, but in approximately 5 years, that's going to grow to 250 million. So approximately 5x. So if you hold on to your Vitru and do absolutely nothing, it will grow to 5 times. Now, you're probably saying, well, that's sort of an inflationary cryptocurrency. That also would mean that it affects the price. Well, we thought about that. We don't want just an inflationary cryptocurrency. What we want is for the market to recognize that the compound interest, the rebasing that we are doing, is smart. So here's how it works. On Vitruvio, there is a daily goal for transactions that the entire ecosystem must match. On day one, it starts off with 10,000 transactions, and every day after that, the goal is increased by 500 transactions. So if everyone works together and there are good apps and there is a healthy ecosystem with creators doing their thing, collectors doing their thing, etc., then it should be no problem meeting that transaction goal. If the daily transaction goal is met, then only then do you have a rebase, meaning interest applied, so that everyone's Vitru grows by a little bit. So this happens on a daily basis automatically in the protocol. No one has to do anything. Basically, the protocol computes and says, hey, were the transaction goals met in the past 24 hours? And if they were, great, everyone gets a benefit. So this is how we control this and make it not an inflationary currency, but a reward-based currency. We are rewarding the performance of the entire ecosystem. And the market will recognize that and price the Vitru token, the Vitru coin accordingly. So when you hold a booster and you have 100 tokens, what you actually are getting in 5 years, if you hold on and don't sell those, is 500 tokens, just a little bit over 500 actually. And it might be a little over, it might take a little longer. So for example, if we don't meet our transaction goals, then the rebase doesn't occur and we have to wait for the next day to see if we can meet the goal, and so on and so forth. The other thing is also that the perks pool I talked about, the 1.9 million tokens. So let's just say 2 million for the sake of math expediency here. So even that 2 million tokens is also rebasing. So that's going to be 10 million tokens in span of 5 years. So as a result of holding a booster, you get that benefit. And guess what? If the transactions are multiplying and increasing faster and faster, it means that there is more income coming in, and so your revenue share is also growing. So essentially, getting a booster gives you a lot of benefits that are sort of both direct in the form of actually getting your base tokens, but also passive income in that those tokens are growing through rebasing. You have a perks pool which is growing through rebasing, and you have a share of that. The perks pool is the daily tokens are released if a rebase occurs. So if a rebase occurs, the perks also grows. So there's a huge benefit for everyone working together for the success of the protocol. If everyone is promoting the protocol, getting their friends to use it, etc., then we have more transactions and we'll meet that rebasing goal, and then everyone benefits as a result. So we've designed this protocol to really work as a community as a whole. Like everyone is pulling together in the same direction. It's not like, oh, here's my stash and my app, etc. Everyone benefits when we work together for the common good. So those are some direct benefits, but there are some more benefits. So we are partnered with a sneaker company in Portugal called Diverge Sneakers, and we are working right now on creating a very unique sneaker for our launch. And the first 250 booster purchasers will get a free sneaker. So this is a unique, one-of-a-kind Genesis Vitruvio sneaker. It's pretty cool, and it's a highly desirable item. So that'll go to the first 250 folks who buy a booster. There's one more cool perk, and that is for the first 1,000 folks who buy at least 7 boosters in a transaction. So that's about $1,000. It's 1,050 exactly. So for the first 1,000 transactions of 7 or more, there is an additional revenue share we've set aside. That's a 5% pool. So those 1,000 transaction holders are eligible.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
For that revenue share. And this revenue share is forever. So it's for the life of the blockchain. So to give you some context, OpenSea had at its peak in 1 year 1.5 billion in sales. So we would capture 2% of that, and you would be eligible for a portion of that revenue. So, and it's only going to grow over time. So those are sort of the benefits and the both the tangible sort of benefits, sneakers, etc., and the intangible benefits in terms of passive income, and more than anything else, when you are buying a booster, you're boosting this entire ecosystem. You're saying that, well, I believe in a vision where we can work together to use technology to make it possible for artists to have a sustainable income through their art. That is our laser-like focus. Everything we are doing is around that. So if you believe that that is a good vision and a good mission, then please buy a booster and support us, boost this ecosystem. So I started off by saying there's 2 kinds of boosters. So the $150 booster, that's the one. We have 20,000 of them, and we'll start selling them on Monday. There's also a second kind of booster, and that is a super booster. Now, a super booster is targeted towards those individuals who are looking to get more tokens and more sort of a bigger return. So the super boosters, there's 6 of them, and they are priced from 25,000 to 250,000. And the main benefit to them is that you get more tokens and you get a much faster acceleration if you already are an owner. And of course, by virtue of having a larger number of tokens, you get a bigger share of the perks pool and you get a bigger share of the revenue pool. So those are all the things around boosters. What I'd like to do now is, first of all, I'll ask Fer. Is there anything I missed or anything you can think of that I should add? And if that's, so let's hear you on that.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for being so thorough with the explanation. As an artist, we always have the questions that are not, not so easy to digest on the token side and all that kind of stuff. But I think you did an amazing job on explaining. I would just like to kind of emphasize and see if you can be more clear, in the artist language on the, because the booster was invented for, the vesting part. So you have the original investors, there's going to get that benefit. But for us that are buying for the first time, how does that work? Because I saw somewhere about the claim of tokens. So how is that exactly?
Sure. That's a really really good question. So as I said, we target both personas. So if you are an existing holder, then yeah, you want that vesting and the acceleration on it, but you can completely ignore that. You can still buy the booster and benefit of, avail of all the other benefits. So what we'll be doing is essentially, when you buy the booster here, you're going to get your booster NFT, and then on December 1, we'll make it possible for you to start using this with an application where you can boost your account. You can choose any account you want. It doesn't have to be an existing account, any account on Vitruvio, and you can boost that account. And what that will do is it will transfer the benefits I talked about. It'll transfer the tokens, it'll transfer the right to have perks, it'll transfer the right to have revenue share and all of that to that account. Now, it might be useful to talk a little bit about accounts here, because that's also something new. So Vitruvio is essentially running the same software as Ethereum, but modified. We call that EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine Compatible, but that's a lot of jargon. Basically, everything works the same as Ethereum, except in your wallet, you have to point it to a different network. The way it's not the same, though, is gas costs. The gas costs are trivial, extremely low, because we reimburse the validators not through gas. Gas exists on Ethereum, etc., to reimburse validators for their work. We don't need to do that because we've got a revenue share and other ways in which validators get paid. So the gas costs are trivial. They're pretty much, if you've used Binance or other networks like that are EVM compatible, you can see that they're pretty low, and so you wouldn't have to worry about that. But other than that, the experience of using a crypto wallet, etc., is all the same. Now, what we are doing is we are going to introduce a whole set of tools, custodial wallets, etc., to get people who know nothing about crypto on board also. But we don't have to worry about that right now. But so if you're an artist, you're a creator in this ecosystem, and you want to show your support, and you have the capital to spare, like, I want to be very clear on one thing. We want people to help us make this booster sale very successful, but we want it to be done by people who can afford to do it. We would not want someone to go out of their way or spend their life savings or something like that. This is not that. There are enough, and as I said, we've aligned the incentives for investors. So there's a lot of people with capital who can support. But if you're an artist and you want to be part of it, then you would essentially buy a booster or more boosters if you'd like, for $150 each, and it does not require you to have any prior involvement with Vitruvio. You can come in clean as a new artist here, buy the booster token, and then on December 1, you'll be able to start boosting and go for that. So did that answer your question, Fur?
It did, although I do have some more questions on that matter. So first of all, I'd like to emphasize what you just said. We're not asking artists to buy boosters because the whole point is that we have people that are investors and we want to support artists. So the idea is not that artists go around buying boosters, but I am going to buy some because I believe. So just saying that that's not the point here to tell artists to go buy boosters. We're going to support you guys in other ways, but I know that some people like myself have some money on the side for this kind of stuff. So for the people like myself, they're not, DJs or any of this, and we have our, MetaMask and all of this. So I just wanted to know if it's simple for us, how do we go? I saw that we can buy with USDC, and it's the same wallet as ETH. So if we could clarify on that, that would be great.
Yep. Yeah, so when we have the booster sale on Monday, the only cryptocurrency we have on Vitruvio is Vitru, right? And that currently is not trading on an exchange, although it will very shortly. So how do we enable people to pay to buy their boosters? Well, we allow you to pay by using crypto on two different blockchains, Ethereum and Binance. So what you would do is you would go to the booster purchase page, and you would essentially pay the $150 in either USDC, which is a stable coin, it's always equal to $1, uh, or USDT, which is Tether basically, which is also a stable coin, which is $1. It's very easy to obtain these. For example, if you're using MetaMask and you have Ethereum in there, you can hit swap, and you can essentially convert your ETH into USDC. It's really, really simple. It only takes like 30 seconds to do. So if you have never used a stable coin before, and you want to use, buy a booster, then that's how you would go about it. You would, on Ethereum, use USDC and USDT, both stable coins. On Binance, also you would use stable coins, but there you would use USDT and another stable coin there, which is the native stable coin of Binance. It's called BUSD. So those are the two networks we support, Ethereum and Binance. At the end of the day, it's basically like this. You have your wallet. In your wallet, if you have USDC or USDT, you can buy a booster. If you have only Ethereum, until you swap and convert it, you will not be able to buy a booster.
Thanks, Nick. That clarifies a lot. And yeah, so I don't know, do you want to elaborate on other things, or should we open for questions?
Yeah, I just want to talk about one more thing. That is kind of important. I want to make sure that everyone understands that our goal is to have Vitru listed on one exchange. So we call them centralized exchanges. So these are like, the tier one exchanges are like Binance and Coinbase, etc. And then there's a lot of other, there's hundreds and hundreds of exchanges. So the reason we want to list on an exchange is because an exchange is where you can trade Vitru for other cryptocurrency, including fiat. So a centralized exchange is how you can on-ramp and off-ramp into the banking system, the existing banking system. So our goal is to get Vitru listed on an exchange as early as the end of this year. And it all depends on scheduling. Like the exchanges have a process we have to go through. So our goal is to as soon as the booster sale is complete in around 30 to 45 days, we would go ahead and enable our listing. We are already in talks with exchanges. So what does that mean? Well, that means that the Vitru coin will be liquid. So a portion of the proceeds that we are raising through this booster sale are to provide liquidity. So we'll do that. And then early in the next year, we will also have a decentralized exchange like Uniswap or PancakeSwap. Those are the ones where you don't have to have an account on an exchange. You just go and you swap. So we'll be doing that also. Now there's one other thing that is important for you to understand when you buy a booster. The tokens I mentioned, they are vested. So vesting basically means they are gradually available to you over a period of time. So for the booster, the vesting period is 18 months. So what that means is that your tokens are gradually available to you over the course of 18 months. Why is this? Well, this is not that unique or different from what you have in the world of startups and in the world of sort of crypto, where there is a new project being created. The reason you have vesting is for what I alluded to earlier, is if everyone bought tokens and everyone immediately went and tried to sell them for a profit, the token price would effectively go to zero because there would be too many sellers and too few buyers. What vesting does is give the protocol, the whole ecosystem, a chance to get on its footing. So it's like a baby, right? We have to stand up and we have to walk and get a bit stable. So vesting means that you're essentially waiting and growing with the protocol. So a booster is not intended for someone who wants to buy and immediately go and sell and make a huge profit. That's not going to happen. So there is vesting of 18 months, and over that period of time, your your VTRU that you will have, your 100 VTRU, is going to grow through rebasing, is going to grow through the perks pool. And if we are doing everything right and we are creating a successful ecosystem, then the price of VTRU would also grow. That, of course, we can do all our work, but there's market forces that also shape the price of cryptocurrency, and we can't control that. But we are damn sure going to work very hard to do everything right in terms of getting creators onboarded, getting them the right tools, building the right marketplaces, building the pathways for hundreds and thousands of new art appreciators to come on and learn about NFT art and buy NFT art. So that's it about vesting and exchanges.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Dr. Martin.
Nick,
Hello.
I have, sorry, first of all, thank you for your explanation. Thorough, as always, and very, very clear. My question has to do with, as artists, actually as NFTY dreamer artists with holding passes, if we want to buy boosters, it will be good to know what is going to be the allocation of tokens for each pass as an NFTY dreamer. That is, I would like to purchase boosters, but I would like to have make an informed decision depending on how many tokens or passes I get as a dreamer.
Yeah, so we have other perks for artists who are in the Nifty Dreams DAO, but they're unrelated to this sale. So there is no connection at all between you holding a Nifty Dreams pass in this particular sale. We have a usage and benefits for you in other ways, but not this one.
Okay, thank you.
To share VTRUBooster with
God bless, God bless, God bless. Well, allow me to introduce myself, Riva Fair. I'm Max, or better known as Yamap, and I hold the distinction of being the founder of Legendary Club NFT, and hence also the 14th wallet on Vitruvio out of the 18,000 that Nick speaks of. Okay? Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
Additionally, I also oversee the management of 11 light notes, or as they are presently referred to, backers. Also own a full node and so forth. And we have reached personally, I've reached a pivotal decision to wholeheartedly commit my all of the BNB reserves we got in Legendary Club to achieve the maximum threshold of boosters, which is set, I believe, at 25, if I'm correct.
The 25 limit is for per account acceleration, but there is no limit to the number of boosters you can buy.
Noted. Okay. So I'm also, by the way, wholeheartedly building tools on Vitruvio. And however, Nick, this commitment has rendered it challenging for me to operate recently efficiently due to the lack of access to the Vitruvio Discord. So I would just kindly ask that I be granted the access, a process that I trust will be administered in accordance with the established protocols. Furthermore, I'm keen to gain a deeper understanding of two specific matters. Firstly, I understand that it has come to my attention that there's first 1,000 wallets obtaining 7 or more boosters are subject. I didn't understand exactly 35% or max percent licensing fee. Is that correct? I would greatly appreciate it if you could provide more clarity on that. Is that per wallet? So would it be smarter to buy with different wallets and then sort of put them all together, or what would you suggest?
It's based on a transaction. So if you in one transaction buy 7 or more boosters, then you become eligible for a separate revenue share of 5% of the fee is set aside for just those holders. So there is no need to sort of, we don't believe in gimmicks and all that. So it's basically, if you have a transaction where there's 7 or more, then you have a pro rata share of that 5% of the fees that we've set aside for the 1,000. The first 1,000 transactions that have 7 or more get that share. So you don't need to separate transactions or anything like that. One transaction
Cool.
will
Thank
will do
you.
the trick.
And secondly, just I'm intrigued about the 1.9 million Vitruvio incentive pool. If you could share additional details regarding the workings and objectives of that incentive pool, that would be of immense value.
Sure. Yeah. So the idea here is that when the booster sale is complete, we're going to end up with a certain number of total tokens that, through a combination of boosters and super boosters people have purchased. So what we would do is essentially divide that 1.9 million tokens by the total number of tokens that were in the booster sale. And that essentially gives you a per token share of that perks pool for every booster token purchased. And so every time there's a rebase, the perks pool grows because the vesting period for the perks pool is 2 years. And so when a rebase occurs, all the perks tokens to that point that are vested, that are not yet in the pool, are available in the pool. So they become available to everybody. And so you get a pro rata share. So let's say, for example, just use round numbers. Let's say that there's 100 booster tokens. All right, it's a very small number. I get it. I mean, it's just one booster, right? But if you were to divide that up, 1.9 million by that 100, then you know what is the pro rata share of each token, right? And so daily, these tokens will be available, and you can claim them or you can let them sit. Now, here's the thing. Let's say that your share ends up being like 10%, all right? And you decide, oh, well, I'm going to go today and claim, and you decide you're going to claim 5% of that. So when you do that claim of that 5% from the perks pool, you are done with that 5%. You cannot, your 10% original now dropped to the balance 5%. And the remaining got distributed among all the other people who are letting their perks sit. So the perks are designed essentially as a pool where you can claim whenever you want to, as many times as you want to, but each time you claim, your pro rata share goes down a little bit. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Okay, so yeah, holding is brings more value in long
Holding is
term,
encouraged.
the time being.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
And what is the scheduled time? Is there a scheduled time for Monday for the sale?
It's 9 a.m. Eastern.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you, Nick, for the all the information and the informative response. Highly appreciate it. And God bless all of you, and have a lovely day. Keep listening. Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, those are some good questions. Yeah, there's a lot of tokenomics going on here and a lot of complexity to it, and it's not necessary for everyone to necessarily understand all of it. But of course, we want you to be educated about it. But if this stuff seems very complex to you, etc., don't sweat it. There's going to be ample information about it over time, and there's going to be ample time for you to digest this. At the end of the day, the decision you have to make is: do I want to spend $150 multiplied by however many boosters you want to buy, and avail of these benefits? How these benefits are sort of conveyed to you, we will have lots of materials. We will have videos, things like that, and our goal is to make some of the tools a lot easier. The important thing here is that we're also doing fairly unique and different things, right? Like, to my knowledge, there has not been any protocol that has given buyers of tokens an NFT that has utility, that when that utility is used, it then converts into an artwork NFT, which by itself has value. The artwork, and these are rare, right? Like, there's never going to be boosters again. And so these artworks are going to be rare. And once we start having a marketplace, you could potentially sell these because they are Genesis boosters. They are very rare. All right, so we are almost at the top of the hour here. Fer, do you have any sort of closing remarks or anything like that?
No, I just think that the artists are excited. All the solutions that we are bringing to the problems that we've seen in the community from the artist perspective. We're super looking forward to seeing all of that implemented, and we want to know when we can start bringing our art to Vitruvio. So that's a question I keep getting all the time.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have to do it one step at a time, right? So the first step is make sure that we have capital and the runway to be able to support artists and build the tools, etc., that we need to. So we are doing that now, and what we are looking to do is, as quickly as possible. I would say within the next 4 to 6 weeks, start enabling. Programs to enable artists to come on board. We probably might even do some sooner on in like private alphas, private betas, but we want to make sure that we don't give you the exact same experience as other protocols. Our goal is to give you a great user experience. We have fundamentally transformed how NFTs are added and sold, etc. And so that requires a little bit of work. So I would say that you can look at the rest of the year as sort of our on ramp, our ramp up period, and then we really hit hard in the new year. But that doesn't mean there won't be any activities. There's going to be activities, but sort of at the alpha and beta level. For example, we're going to start bringing on art packs, etc. But we definitely will have lots of artist engagement coming up. But think of it as sort of a gradual ramp up versus a switch on off. Like here's the day. That switch will happen in the new year, but from now until the end of the year, we will have gradual artist onboarding. So that actually gives me a chance to talk also about I've been in the NFT art ecosystem, and I'd like to think of myself, if nothing else, at least being a major community supporter. But with Vitruvio, what my reason, my passion for it is that I've been very frustrated with the other protocols. Like on Ethereum, there's nothing in the NFT standards that does anything at all for creators. Tezos is great. It's about community and about artists supporting each other, but Tezos is not going to give you a sustainable income. Like in fact, the model there is lower price points, etc. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's how it has become more or less. And even then, it still does not cater to the needs of creators in very specific ways, in which would enable more traditional artists to come on board. More and more traditional artists have a problem because their needs are not addressed. Everything from standards to scammers, etc. Those protections need to be built. And so while we have lots of amazingly good efforts by amazingly good teams, I feel like if we are going to really scale this up to really, really grow big and get, the remaining, almost 86% of traditional artists that are not yet in this space, we got to start at the protocol level, and we got to do this and make sure that the tech matches the business needs. And this is why with Vitruvio, it's completely artist and creator focused. It's a vertically integrated ecosystem. And because it's that way, we have the ability over time to really, really address the needs of creators firsthand. We don't have to be rubbing shoulders with the DeFi projects and other crypto projects, wherever that they may go. We are focused entirely on creators, and we've got, as I said, the incentives aligned with investors, and so now we have the ability to really, really scale up and make this dream of Web3 very real. We all know that a large number of artists started emerging into the space in 2021. 2022 was great, but it started sort of tapering off, and now with the market going south, a lot of artists have left the space. But there's a lot who believe in the fundamental values of Web3, which is the equality, the ability to bypass uh, gates, to be able to just sort of chart your own course. But then we get into situations like gas costs, etc., which when they are low, it might not be much for people in the developed world, but people in the developing world, that's still very expensive. And so how do we address those needs? We need to do that. How do we ensure that there is trust? So with Vitruvio, we are focusing on trust, so that people, not just the traditional artists, but also traditional collectors and the art appreciators, will take a serious look at this and say that, well, now we've got a pathway. We've got something that is actually sort of standards based, is trustworthy, etc. And so we have a place to put our money. There's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. There is a lot of it. And we can only capture it if we build the right systems. And so we feel that Vitruvio is that solution. Time will tell, but I hope I can count on your support, whether it's as an artist who comes on here and helps us craft this future, right? It's not my future or Fur's future or someone else's future. It is our future as artists. This is our NFT renaissance. We can do it. We can transform the world and make art mainstream. And I'm really, really excited about that. And I hope on Monday, if you can and would like to, show us support by participating in our booster sale. So I think that's a good place to sort of close off the space. So thanks everyone for spending the hour with us. And I'm available. Fur's available. We are very accessible on X and also in our Discord. And as I said, expect to see a lot of information coming your way. But on Monday, it's going to be really easy. You hit a button and you essentially buy. It's not going to be that different. It's a new blockchain, so that adds a tiny little bit of friction, but otherwise, it's more or less the same. So anyway, thanks and have a wonderful day for those of you about to start your day, and have a good evening for those of you about to end your day. But I'll catch you online again. Thank you so much.